friends, welcome to Lovin' Life's Journey DIY. I'm Chantel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure many of you have seen these straw hats and purses that Dollar Tree carries around this time of year, and I'm really excited about this video because I'm going to be showing you how to use these to create some really high-end looking decor pieces for your home. So let's not wait any longer. Let's jump in and get started. For this project, I will be using a mirror from Dollar Tree as well as a pizza pan. I'll also be using some wood beads and a straw hat. This is one that I had on hand already. I picked it up at Family Dollar, but you can also get them in several different colors at Dollar Tree. And I will also be using some spray paint in an off-white color. I'm going to start by removing the back of the mirror so that this will just separate the mirror from the frame so that I can paint the frame. I will also be painting the pizza pan, so I'm going to remove the label off of that, and I'm going to be using actually the back of the pizza pan, so that's what I'm going to paint. I did several light coats of paint, and I actually only painted the one side, the back side of the pizza pan. And once I had those painted and they were dry, I decided that I could leave the pizza pan just the way it was. I ended up having to use a satin finish paint because my other chalk paint actually quit working. And I didn't really want the satin finish on the mirror frame, so I decided to take a little bit of chalk paint and just paint right over the top of the frame. And actually, that's one trick that I like to use when I am painting something that has a smooth surface, such as the pizza pan or even this frame, is to spray paint it first because spray paint seems to adhere better, and then to go ahead and paint over the top of it with a chalk paint or something like that. And that gives me the finish that I want, but it's a little more durable. So I'm going to be adding some of my straw hat to the pizza pan. So I'm going to remove that ribbon that was around the hat, and then I am going to cut off the brim of the hat. Once I have the brim cut off, then I'm going to lay it on the back side of that pizza pan, and I'm going to decide how much of this brim I need to use. And so basically I just want it to be the size of the pizza pan and enough or wide enough so that when I put the mirror in the center, I don't see any of the white pizza pan. Then I'm going to just adhere this to the pizza pan using my hot glue gun. And I would definitely recommend wearing a finger protector when you are gluing this down because there are a lot of holes in the straw hat where the hot glue seeps through and it's pretty easy to burn yourself. I did make a cut in the circle of the brim of the hat so that it was easier to finish it off, and then where it didn't fit quite on the pan, just because of the way the brim laid, I trimmed that off, and then I just glued down my seam and tried to make it as seamless as possible. And you don't need to worry if the outer edge of the brim of the hat is not perfect along the outer edge of the pizza pan because we are going to cover that up with the wood beads. So I've gone ahead and strung some wood beads on a string so that they are the perfect length to go around the brim of the hat or the outside edge of the pizza pan. And I don't want the string to show, so I am going to just cut off the string and hot glue it inside the beads that are on the end to hold it together. This way there won't be any knots showing in between the beads, but I can still leave them on the string, which makes it so much easier to attach it to the project. Then I'm going to attach my string of beads around the outside edge of the pizza pan using some hot glue. And I'm not gluing down every bead, I'm just adding some hot glue every few inches or so. And now I'm going to take my mirror and add it back into my frame, and then I'm going to attach it to the center of my pizza pan using some hot glue. And then I need to add a hanger to the back, and I found this one in my stash. I cannot remember what these are called, but I know I probably got it in a package at Walmart. And I'm going to add some E6000 and attach that to the top of my backside of my mirror, and then I'm going to let that dry overnight. I think this makes a beautiful wall decor piece, but I also have another way that I'm going to show you how to use it, so make sure you keep watching. For this next project, I'm going to be using this vase from Dollar Tree, as well as this little beaded tassel, and I'm also going to be using one of the little straw purses, which they are also carrying along with the straw hats. I'm going to start by removing the handles from the little purse, and then I will also remove that little flower from the top. And the glue was pretty strong, so I just heated it up with my heat tool and then pulled it right off. And I also cut off the tag. I'm going to be putting this straw detail up about halfway on my vase. I want to make sure that it is at least the same length or a little bit longer than the tassel. So that's kind of what I'm using as a measurement. And then I'm just cutting a strip off of the purse all the way around so that it's long enough to go around the vase. And the fold that was in this really wasn't a big deal. Once I stretched it around the vase, it kind of disappeared. So I'm using hot glue to attach it to the vase, and this did hold pretty well. And so then once I got to the end, I just trimmed off the excess and tried to glue it down as smoothly as possible. Now there was a little bit of a gap in my straw, so I just cut a slit about halfway down and then used my hot glue to overlap it a little bit, and this made it lay flat and it didn't really show that much. In fact, I'm going to put my tassel over the top of that so it won't show at all. Now, the little beaded tassel was a little bit too long, so I had to cut this and remove a few beads off of it. I decided to take off the two black and white checked beads since there were just two of them, and I'll save those to maybe use for something else, but I'm just adding some beads back on to make it the perfect length to go around the vase. Then I'll tie a knot and then just slip it over the top. This was so simple to do, but it makes a beautiful high-end candle holder, and I think it looks good with that mirror as well. If you are enjoying this video, if you could do me a big favor and hit that like button, it would mean the world to me. It really helps my channel and helps other people see this video as well. Also, leave a comment below and let me know if you have used these straw hats and purses in any DIYs, and let me know what those are, and that will give other people reading the comments some ideas as well. All right, on to the next DIY, and I'm going to be using this hat from Dollar Tree as well as some of the scraps from the hat that I used for that mirror. Also, I'm going to be using a couple of different styles of little lanterns that I've gotten at Dollar Tree. These I just had in my stash, but I know that you can find different styles at different times at Dollar Tree. And I'll be using some jute twine. I'm going to start with this little lantern. I don't want to leave it white, so I am going to be painting it using this Rust-Oleum Forged Hammered Burnished Amber spray paint. Say that fast 3 times. And I'm going to paint the base and the top, but I don't want to paint those little cross bars in the center because I think they'll show through my straw hat more if I do. So I'm going to leave them white. So I'm just putting some painter's tape over them to protect them from the spray paint. And then I'm going to spray this and just a couple of light coats to go over it. And then you'll notice that this spray paint has like a texture to it, and that's why it's called the Forged Hammered spray paint. It has kind of a hammered metal look, and I really like that. While my paint is drying, I am going to take my hat and I'll remove the ribbon around the hat, and then I'm just going to find the little end and snip the thread that's holding it together, and then it just pulls apart. And this is great for crafting because you can pull this apart and have a whole bunch of like straw ribbon to use for DIYs. And through the magic of video, my spray paint is dry. I'm going to remove the painter's tape, and then I am going to start adding my straw ribbon. And so I'm just tacking it down with a little hot glue, and then I'm going to just wrap it around my lantern. Now I did have to kind of angle it a little bit to wrap as I worked my way down. And so if you want your lines to be straight across, then you might want to just work in strips. So like add one round and then cut it off and then move down and add another one. But as you can see, I just wrapped it, and even though it was angled a little bit, I kind of liked that look. It didn't bother me at all. So it's just whatever you prefer. And then when I got to the end, I just added a little hot glue to secure that down and then trimmed off the excess. And there's a little hole on the top where there used to be a hanger that I had removed when I used this for another project. So I am just adding a little bit of jute twine and just making a simple little hanger just to finish it off, just a little extra detail. And then I added a different little LED tea light to it that was brighter than the one that came in it, and I think it looks great. For my other little lantern, I'm going to be using some of that darker colored straw hat that I used in my mirror project. And then I'm going to wrap it around my other little lantern the same way that I did the first one. I also added a little piece around the top of this lantern as well. I removed this silver little hanger from the top of this lantern, so I wanted to add a little bit more of an embellishment on the top. So I took some jute twine and I am making a tassel. I did this by wrapping the twine around my fingers about 8 times or so, And then I'm tying another piece of jute twine to the top of my circle, holding it all together, and that's going to be the string that I am going to add some beads to. And then I'm tying another piece of twine just a little ways down, kind of to make a little neck of my tassel, and then I'm trimming off the bottom to kind of even it up. Then I'm going to take some wood beads and add them to my longer piece of twine above the tassel. And then once I decide how long I want that to be, I'm going to tie a knot in the same place over and over again so that I get like a big knot. And that's what I'm going to use to glue to the top of my lantern. And I just love how the light looks shining through the holes of the straw hats. I just think this looks so cool. And as promised, I want to show you another way to use that mirror. It can be used as a tray, and I think it looks amazing paired with these little lanterns. I love the way the light looks reflecting in the mirror, and I think this makes just a gorgeous centerpiece. Again, if you enjoyed this video and you like these projects, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and set your notifications by hitting that bell. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.